Change can be scary, right? That step into the unknown, not knowing what will happen, telling yourself all the things that could go wrong, getting excited about all the things that could go right. And then action happens or it doesn't. 6 years ago, almost to the day, I was made redundant. And I had a choice. That choice was to continue looking for other jobs, to continue down a path where I was drifting, or try something new, something scary, something big, something I'd never done before. And after a while of procrastinating, I got to work. I made a choice. And that choice was to start a business. Has it been easy? No. Has it been fun? Yes. Am I a millionaire? No. Have I learned so much? Yes. And truth be told, it's something I wish I'd done sooner. But at the time, I didn't have the balls to do. Fate intervened, and I got stuck into it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Having the confidence to start something new, having that confidence to say, balls to this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start a new business, I'm going to quit that job, I'm going to do something new with my life, I'm going to travel, I am going to live my life. Speaking of that, let's get stuck in. Greetings and salutations wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the latest episode of an Espresso Shot of Confidence with me, your host, Ashley Griffiths, the Master of Awesomeness. Change. It's inevitable. But as humans, we're not fans of it. It's scary because it's unknown. We don't know what will happen. If we're doing something for the first time, we have zero evidence about whether we can do it. We don't know what the outcome will be. And that's exactly how I felt when I started my business 6 years ago. I did not have a clue what I was doing. I had no vision. I had no goals for world domination. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And still don't really. But I have a bit more of a clue than I did then. But the options for me at that stage were stick or twist. And stick just wasn't an option. So once I removed that, I had to twist. And the twist was starting a business. But at the time, I didn't take myself particularly seriously as a business owner, so I went freelance. And thought, okay, well, how can I make money without having to work for an employer? So I looked at it and thought, okay, what skills have I got? What knowledge do I have? What experience have I got? And what will people pay me for? So I went back to education. I'd spent a lot of time teaching English, teaching business. So I went down that route. So I started doing English classes. And that's when I stumbled upon tutoring here in the UK. And I thought, okay, well, I'm good at English, good at business. Why don't I tutor those subjects? Which is exactly what I did. I started tutoring those subjects. I started to guide students. And pretty quick, because there is a huge demand for it, I started getting traction. And then I also created profiles and things elsewhere and tried, it was very much a case of I'm going to throw things here, and here and see what sticks. I'm going to do some writing. I'm going to do some tutoring. I'm going to do some English consulting for businesses. without doing any bloody market research to see if there was a need for it, which I knew there was, but not really diving in. I was completely winging it. Completely winging it. And it was both exciting and scary. It was exciting because it was something new. I was pushing myself. I was learning new skills I never thought I would ever need, like building websites, marketing, sales, promoting myself. Oh my God. We're talking about someone who liked hiding in the shadows. And now I had to be front and center of things, talking about me. I can't do that. That's big-headed. That's boastful. That's arrogant. And all the stories that came with that. But for me, the thing I've learned along this journey is there is absolutely nothing arrogant or boastful about honoring who you are, owning your strengths, owning your experience, and sharing that with the world, because there are people out there that need that help and support. You know something that somebody else does not. So why would you not share that? The thing I've learned during my business journey is I feel like I almost have a moral obligation to share that, because there's so many people hiding in the shadows, drifting like I was, because they're not prepared to put themselves out there to say, look, here I am. This is what I do. And I can support you in your journey. Because it's loaded. I understand it's loaded. I was very nervous about that before. I had no idea how to promote myself, how to share what I was good at. There was a lot of limiting beliefs, like no one will ever pay me that. I'm not worth that. I'm not good enough for that. I'm not a professional. I'm not a business owner. I'm a freelancer. I'm a freelance teacher. Bollocks to that. I'm a business owner. But it took a while to discover who I was in a new context. And again, this can be scary. Taking that step into the unknown, not knowing what will happen next. And a lot of the time, people don't, because the unknown is far scarier than the known. Even if the known, like a crap job, crap relationship, going to the same bloody holiday place every year because that's just what we do. It's known. It's safe. It offers security. The alternative does not, or at least not initially, because you're feeling your way into it. But like I said, with me, the alternative just wasn't an option. I did not want to be employed anymore. So therefore, I had to find an alternative. And over time, that I found myself. I found what I am good at. I've become confident in different areas. I've built up competence in different areas, and from competence comes confidence. And 6 years later, have I set the world alight? No. Have I made my millions? No. Have I had a massive impact on a lot of people, literally thousands of people? Yes. And that's priceless. That's priceless. It just lights me up knowing that I've had that impact. Even if it's just a small smidgen of impact on one person, it's a powerful thought, right? Like right now, think about it. In your job, whatever it is you're doing right now, or you've got a business, whatever it is you're doing, think about something that you have done where someone has turned around and said thank you. Think about something you've done that has brightened up someone's day. Now, this could be simply talking to somebody when you're going about your daily business. But just think about that. How you have brightened up that day, taken the load off, maybe made things a bit lighter, made them smile, made them laugh, made them feel safe. And think about, by doing that, what impact has that had on other people? Because we're not an island. We don't live in isolation. We're a social group of people that in this current world that we live in is determined to bloody isolate ourselves. But in our essence, everything we are, we're social creatures. Social creatures that thrive on being around other people, in supporting other people. And you can do that in whatever it is you're doing, be that your business, be that starting a new job, whatever it is, saying hello to someone when you go for your coffee. Everybody right now, every single person in the world, including yourself, has the power to make an impact and already is in the people around them. But let's just wind it back to starting the business. That decision I made 6 years ago to go freelance initially and then start a business not long after. I looked at it and thought, okay, what's the alternative here? I didn't see one. So I thought, okay, well, what can I do? And I looked at it and thought, okay, what skills, what knowledge, experience do I have? And what do people need? Now, because of my education background, it was clear as day, and still is, that people need support. They need support in their education. There's a lot of people that are falling through the cracks. There's a lot of people that don't get the support they need in the current education system. So I was like, okay, well, that's my niche. That's where I need to be. That's where I'm going to place myself and make myself known. Then I had to think, okay, so how am I going to make myself known? Well, that's marketing, that's sales. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. Well, that's not true. I'd done copywriting for a business. I know marketing. I understand marketing and sales. I have a degree in business. I've worked as a manager in different roles. I've had to promote businesses. So I thought, okay, well, what do I need to learn? So I went and I learned it. I went and learned the things that I didn't know. I hired a few people to help me out. And I cracked on. Website. I was like, I don't know the first thing about websites, and I certainly don't have the budget to get a professional one done. So I then felt, okay, well, what options are available to me if I'm going to do a website? I chose to use a platform called Wix, where it's literally drag and drop. You can drag and drop what you need, and you have a website. They've got templates. And in this day and age, you don't even need that. I mean, just set up a Facebook page or a page on Google. You don't need a all singing, dancing website that's going to cost you a couple of grand or maybe more to get started. You just don't. And I applied this thinking every step of the way and thought, okay, well, how can I get my message out? Where do I need to be? What platforms do I need to be on? And I did a lot of research. I spent a lot of time online during that time learning about where, when, how. And each time I took an action, it just felt a little less overwhelming, because it certainly can feel massively overwhelming when you get started. Anything can, regardless. If it's new, it will feel overwhelming because you don't know what you're bloody doing. So my advice with that is to apply the thinking that we see in James Clear's Atomic Habits, where he gets you to break down everything, every single step from completion to the first thing you do. So if you're planning to start a business, the last thing you do when you start the business is start the business. What do you need to do before that? What actions? And break it down all the way down to grab a piece of paper and a pen to start brainstorming. Turn on computer, load up Google. You literally make it that small. And then you go back. Once you've got your list, you start with task 1, pen and paper. Okay, what are you doing with pen and paper? You're going to brainstorm ideas. Okay, you brainstorm them. And then what? You're going to take those ideas and action idea number 1. And you just go on and go on and go on and go on until you've started your business. On that list, it'll be, okay, I need to speak to maybe something like if you're in the UK, maybe I need to speak to the Chamber of Commerce or the Federation of Small Businesses, go get some advice. There's free advice out there. Things don't have to cost a fortune. And why should they when there's free advice out there? You have businesses like NatWest that run accelerator programs where they will guide you through a process of getting a business set up. There's government schemes. But knowing at the start, like knowing any of that, it's like, what's even one of them? And well, they're going to give me money? Why are they going to give me money? I've got this tiny business. I make like a couple £100 a week. And that's the second thing that's super important, is the mentality. Really working on your mindset with this. Believing that you can do it and getting into that space. Trusting that you can do it. Right now, you don't know how to do it. This is okay. That doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you an idiot. It doesn't make you incompetent. It does not make you a failure. It means that you are somebody that doesn't know how to do something. What are you going to do about it? What options have you got to switch that up and go from not knowing to knowing? The example earlier on, I said about websites. I didn't have a first clue about websites. I still don't know that much, but I know how to use a platform called Wix. I also now know how to use a platform called MailerLite, which is an email software. I use, when I'm running any events, I create landing pages, those pages that people come to sign up. I create them on MailerLite. Again, it's drag and drop. I don't need to learn coding. Why would I need to learn coding? I'm not a website designer. And once I got some business, once I built up my income in my bank, I hired somebody that could do it a lot better than me, a lot quicker, and make it look a lot better. But that comes with time. That comes with experience. That comes with knowledge. But coming back to my point, knowing that you can do it, believing that you can, and getting curious about learning how to do it, and just going for it. Just go for it. See what happens. Because ultimately, what is the worst that will happen? You've got this idea. You think it's a good idea. You know there's people out there that want it. You've asked around. You've spoken to people. Would you buy this? Would you get this support? You've heard people say, bloody hell, that's an amazing idea. Or for the longest time, you've had colleagues or friends or something, you should start your own business. You're really good. That idea would sell. So you know that there's people out there that need it. Now you've got to believe in yourself to deliver that. And that's when it comes in to addressing your strengths, knowing who you are, what you have to offer, and offering it. Really diving into what it is you do well and making sure you present as many opportunities as you can to yourself on a daily basis to utilize those strengths, because that's where you make the difference. That is your zone of genius. That is where you make impact. And the more that you do that, well, then your confidence grows. As I mentioned earlier on, you build competence. Competence leads to confidence. And then once you've got confidence, well, the possibilities are infinite. So what will you do? My final point would be to utilize, while you're doing that, utilize the power of what if. Instead of sitting there thinking, well, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? Well, what if it doesn't go well? I'll lose out. It's okay. So what if the business doesn't go well? What are you going to do? Just sit there like a rabbit in the headlights and go, oh, well, that's that. Of course you're not. You're going to do something about it. You're either going to find a different way. You're going to realize that what you're doing isn't working and you need to try a different approach. It may be that you're not ready. It may be that the market's not ready. Then you dust yourself off, you go and find a different solution, you come back and revisit it later. It may simply be that you need to tweak your marketing, tweak your attitude, your mindset, and truly believe that what you have is worth something. And there's loads of ways that you can change that narrative. And one of those is the what if. Well, what if it is a success? What if I go in that room and absolutely smash my pitch? What if I go into that room? What if I launch my offer and I fill it? What if I become the go-to person in my area, in my niche, in my industry for what I do? What if it brings in the amount of money I need to start ticking items off my bucket list? I mean, I'm excited just thinking about that. I started grinning like the Cheshire Cat the moment I said that because it's exciting. You were turning what could be a negative. Well, what if it goes wrong? Well, what if it goes right? You're literally changing your body by questioning yourself, by putting a positive slant on it, by looking at all the things that could go right. And yeah, okay, we live in the real world. Things change. Things can go wrong. Okay, so what if things go wrong? What am I going to do? What are my options? And again, get curious with that. There are always solutions, and you have the power to find them. But it all starts with belief. It all starts in believing in yourself. And it all starts by putting one foot in front of the other. Daring to believe, daring to have the courage to move forwards. Because you can move forward. Because you're awesome. And because you're awesome, it's time for today's espresso shot of confidence. And I'm going to share with you a quote that I absolutely love here. It goes like this. It's by a guy called Arthur Ashe. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. There's power there. A lot of power. You have the power to control your narrative. It all starts by grabbing that pen, that paper, and writing out, okay, this is what I'm going to do next. Exciting, isn't it? I'm buzzing for you. I'm buzzing for everything that is possible for you, whether it is starting a new business, changing your career, changing your relationship, going on that trip for the first time. And speaking of going on trips, my next solo episode will all be about travel. Because it's almost the summer, which means it's almost time for me to take my annual vacation. But more on that next time. So thank you wherever you are in the world for listening to this latest episode or watching it if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching this to get notifications of when the next episodes drop. And on that note, as you start walking on your path, taking the next steps on your journey, keep smiling and don't forget to be awesome.